Chapter 1. Beginnings. In the heart of New York City, James Davis, a young engineer, lived a busy life. Every morning, he woke up early to go to work. He worked in a tall building with many floors. He liked his job because he got to solve problems and work with smart people. But sometimes, he felt tired from all the work. One sunny Saturday, James decided to go for a walk in Central Park. As he strolled along the tree-lined paths, he felt a sense of peace wash over him. The sound of birds chirping and the gentle rustle of leaves filled the air, offering a welcome respite from the hustle and bustle of the city. Suddenly, James spotted his friend, Sarah, sitting on a bench reading a book. Sarah was a kind-hearted woman with a warm smile and a passion for literature. She looked up and waved at James, inviting him to join her. "Hey, James! It's such a beautiful day, isn't it?" Sarah exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "Yeah, it really is," James replied, taking a seat next to her. "What are you reading?" Sarah held up the book, a mystery novel with a colorful cover. "It's called The Secret Garden. It's a classic." James nodded, intrigued. "Sounds interesting. I'll have to check it out sometime." As they chatted, James felt a sense of comfort in Sarah's presence. Despite the stresses of his job and the challenges of city life, moments like these reminded him of the simple joys and pleasures that could be found in the company of good friends. After spending a relaxing afternoon in the park, James bid farewell to Sarah and headed home, feeling rejuvenated and grateful for the little moments of happiness that brightened his day. As James walked through the bustling streets of New York, he couldn't help but smile, knowing that no matter what challenges lay ahead, he could always find solace and companionship in the friendships he cherished. Chapter 2. The Crossroads. One evening, as James sat in his apartment in New York City, he received an email that would change everything. It was a job offer from a big company in San Francisco. James felt excited, but also nervous. He had never been to San Francisco before, and the idea of leaving his home in New York seemed daunting. James called his friend, Alex, to share the news. Alex was supportive, but also concerned about James leaving. "Hey, Alex, I got a job offer from San Francisco," James said, his voice filled with uncertainty. "Wow, that's great news, James. But are you sure you want to move all the way to the other side of the country?" Alex replied, his tone reflecting his concern. "I don't know, Alex. It's a big decision," James admitted, feeling torn between excitement and apprehension. "You have to do what's best for you, James. But just remember, we'll always be here for you no matter where you go," Alex reassured him, his words offering a sense of comfort amidst the uncertainty. After hanging up the phone, James sat in silence, contemplating his options. He knew that accepting the job offer would mean leaving behind his friends, family, and the familiar streets of New York. But it could also be an exciting opportunity to explore a new city and advance his career. As James weighed the pros and cons, he couldn't shake the feeling of uncertainty that lingered in his mind. Would he regret his decision if he stayed in New York, or would he regret leaving if he moved to San Francisco? It was a difficult choice, and James knew that only time would tell what the right decision would be. Chapter 3. The Turning Point. With a mix of excitement and nervousness, James made the decision to accept the job offer in San Francisco. As he packed his belongings into boxes, he couldn't help but feel a pang of sadness at the thought of leaving his home in New York behind. As James was packing, his friend Sarah stopped by to lend a helping hand. "Hey, James, how are you holding up?" Sarah asked, noticing the hint of apprehension in his eyes. "I'm okay. Just trying to wrap my head around everything," James replied, forcing a smile. Sarah could sense James's uncertainty and offered words of encouragement. "You're going to do great, James. San Francisco is a beautiful city, and I'm sure you'll love it there." "Thanks, Sarah. I appreciate your support," James said, feeling a sense of gratitude for his friend's kindness. As James finished packing, he took a moment to look around his empty apartment. Memories of laughter and shared moments with friends flooded his mind, filling him with a bittersweet nostalgia. With a deep breath, James closed the door to his apartment for the last time and headed to the airport, ready to embark on a new chapter in San Francisco. As the plane took off, he couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement and anticipation for the adventures that lay ahead. Chapter 4: The Journey. Upon arriving in San Francisco, James was greeted by the cool breeze and stunning views of the city's iconic skyline. As he stepped out of the airport, he felt a sense of wonder and excitement wash over him. The streets were bustling with people from all walks of life, and the vibrant energy of the city filled him with a newfound sense of adventure. James decided to explore the city and soon found himself wandering through the colorful streets of Chinatown. The scent of exotic spices and the sound of lively chatter filled the air, creating a sensory overload that left James feeling exhilarated. As he walked along the waterfront, James marveled at the breathtaking beauty of the Golden Gate Bridge. The iconic structure stretched majestically across the bay, its towering red pillars casting a striking silhouette against the backdrop of the setting sun. Suddenly, James heard a voice calling out to him. Turning around, he saw a group of tourists waving excitedly in his direction. "Hey there, would you mind taking a photo of us with the bridge?" one of them asked, smiling warmly. "Sure, no problem," James replied, happy to lend a helping hand. As James snapped the photo, he struck up a conversation with the tourists, who were visiting from Brazil. They shared stories of their travels and exchanged tips on the best places to explore in San Francisco. After bidding farewell to his new friends, James continued his journey, eager to discover more of what the city had to offer. He wandered through the lively streets of the Mission District, where colorful murals adorned the walls of buildings, telling stories of culture and community. As the day drew to a close, James found himself at a cozy cafe, sipping on a steaming cup of coffee and watching the world go by. Surrounded by the sights and sounds of San Francisco, he felt a sense of gratitude for the experiences that lay ahead and the friendships he had already made along the way. Chapter 5: The Connections. As James continued to explore San Francisco, he found himself making unexpected connections with the people he encountered along the way. One afternoon, while wandering through a local park, James struck up a conversation with an elderly gentleman named Mr. Chang. Mr. Chang was feeding the pigeons and seemed to radiate wisdom and kindness. "Beautiful day, isn't it?" James remarked, smiling warmly at Mr. Chang. "Yes, indeed. The sun is shining and the birds are singing," Mr. Chang replied, his eyes twinkling with joy. James and Mr. Chang spent the afternoon chatting about life, love, and the simple pleasures of nature. Despite their differences in age and background, they found common ground in their shared appreciation for the beauty of the world around them. Later that week, James attended a community event at a local art gallery, where he met a group of young artists who welcomed him with open arms. They shared their passion for creativity and expression, inviting James to join them in exploring the vibrant art scene of San Francisco. As James immersed himself in these newfound connections, he felt a sense of belonging and camaraderie that warmed his heart. Whether it was sharing stories with Mr. Chang in the park or exploring the city's art scene with his new friends, James realized that the true beauty of San Francisco lay not just in its iconic landmarks, but in the diverse and vibrant community of people who called it home. Chapter 6: The Challenges. As James settled into his new life in San Francisco, he encountered some unexpected challenges along the way. One day, while walking to work, James got lost in the maze of bustling streets and towering skyscrapers. He had taken a wrong turn and ended up in an unfamiliar neighborhood. Feeling frustrated and disoriented, James stopped to ask for directions from a passerby. "Excuse me, do you know how to get to Market Street?" he asked, hoping for some guidance. The passerby, a friendly woman named Maria, smiled sympathetically. "Sure, it's just a few blocks that way," she replied, pointing in the direction of Market Street. "Thank you so much. I really appreciate your help," James said gratefully, relieved to have found someone willing to assist him. As James continued on his way, he couldn't help but feel a sense of gratitude for the kindness of strangers in a city that was still new and unfamiliar to him. In addition to navigation challenges, James also faced difficulties adjusting to the fast-paced lifestyle of San Francisco. The demands of his new job were intense, and he often found himself working late into the night to meet deadlines. Despite these challenges, James remained determined to overcome obstacles and build a successful life in San Francisco. With each passing day, he gained a deeper understanding of the city and its people, forging connections and finding strength in the face of adversity. Chapter 7. The Growth. As James navigated the ups and downs of life in San Francisco, he found himself growing and evolving in unexpected ways. One evening, while attending a networking event for young professionals, James struck up a conversation with a group of entrepreneurs. They shared stories of their successes and failures, inspiring James to pursue his own dreams with renewed determination. "It's amazing to hear about all the innovative ideas people are working on," James remarked, his eyes shining with excitement. "Yeah, there's so much potential here in San Francisco," one of the entrepreneurs agreed, nodding enthusiastically. Encouraged by their words, James felt a surge of motivation to explore new opportunities and push himself out of his comfort zone. He began attending workshops and seminars, honing his skills and expanding his knowledge in areas that interested him. In addition to his professional growth, James also found himself becoming more confident and self-assured in his personal life. He made new friends, explored new hobbies, and embraced the vibrant culture of San Francisco with an open heart. As he looked back on his journey, James realized that the challenges he had faced had only made him stronger and more resilient. With each obstacle overcome, he had grown one step closer to the person he wanted to be. With a newfound sense of purpose and determination, James embraced the opportunities that lay ahead, eager to continue his journey of growth and discovery in the city he now proudly called home. Chapter 8. The Reflection. As James settled into his life in San Francisco, he took a moment to reflect on the journey that had brought him to where he is today. Sitting by the bay, with the gentle lapping of waves against the shore, James allowed his thoughts to wander back to his first days in the city. He remembered the excitement and uncertainty he had felt, the challenges he had overcome, and the friendships he had forged along the way. "It's been quite a journey," James mused aloud, his words carried away by the breeze. Suddenly, a voice interrupted his thoughts. "It sure has been," said a familiar voice. Turning around, James saw his friend Sarah approaching, a warm smile on her face. "Hey, Sarah, what are you doing here?" James asked, surprised to see her. "I was just out for a walk and thought I'd come to say hello," Sarah replied, taking a seat beside James. As they sat together, watching the sun dip below the horizon, James and Sarah shared stories of their adventures in San Francisco and the lessons they had learned along the way. "It's amazing how much we've grown since we first arrived here," Sarah remarked, her eyes reflecting the flickering lights of the city skyline. "Yeah, it really is," James agreed, feeling a sense of gratitude for the experiences that had shaped him into the person he had become. As they sat in companionable silence, James felt a profound sense of peace wash over him. He knew that no matter where life took him next, San Francisco would always hold a special place in his heart as the city where he had discovered himself and found his place in the world. Chapter 9. The Celebration. As James's one-year anniversary in San Francisco approached, he decided to celebrate this milestone with his newfound friends. He reached out to Sarah, inviting her and a few others to join him for a picnic in the park. "Hey, Sarah, I was thinking of organizing a little get-together to celebrate my 1-year anniversary in San Francisco. Would you like to join? James asked over the phone. Absolutely, James. That sounds like a wonderful idea. Count me in, Sarah replied enthusiastically. On the day of the celebration, James arrived at the park early to set up. He spread out a colorful blanket and arranged a variety of snacks and refreshments for his friends to enjoy. As Sarah and the others arrived, they were greeted with smiles and hugs from James. Happy anniversary, James. Thanks for inviting us, Sarah said, handing him a small gift. Thank you, Sarah. I'm so glad you could make it, James replied, touched by her thoughtfulness. As they settled in for the afternoon, James and his friends shared stories and laughter, reminiscing about their favorite memories from the past year. I can't believe it's been a whole year already. Time really flies when you're having fun, Sarah remarked, raising her glass in a toast. Cheers to many more years of friendship and adventure in San Francisco, James exclaimed, clinking glasses with his friends. As they toasted to the future, James felt a sense of gratitude wash over him. He was surrounded by people who had become like family to him, and he knew that as long as they were by his side, he would always feel at home in the vibrant city of San Francisco. Based on the language used in the story, it aligns most closely with the CEFR, Common European Framework of Reference for Languages, A2 level of English proficiency. Here's why. 1. Simple vocabulary. The story primarily uses simple and commonly used vocabulary that is appropriate for learners at the A2 level. For example, words like celebration, get-together, organizing, and refreshments are straightforward and commonly understood by learners at this level. 2. Basic sentence structures. The sentences in the story are generally short and uncomplicated, featuring basic subject-verb-object structures. There are occasional compound sentences and clauses, but they are generally straightforward and easy to understand for A2 level learners. 3. Dialogues. The dialogues between the characters are simple and direct, focusing on everyday topics and interactions. The language used in the dialogues is conversational and reflects typical exchanges that A2 level learners would encounter in real-life situations. 4. Narrative complexity. The storyline itself is relatively straightforward and linear, with clear events and a coherent progression. There are no complex plot twists or abstract concepts that would require a higher level of language proficiency to understand. 5. Limited use of tenses. The story primarily uses simple present and past tenses, with minimal use of more complex tenses like present perfect or past continuous. This aligns with the language proficiency expected at the A2 level. Overall, while the story may contain elements that could appeal to learners at higher proficiency levels, such as cultural references or nuanced emotions, the language itself remains firmly within the A2 level in terms of vocabulary, grammar, and overall complexity. Here are 10 words phrases from the story, along with examples from the story itself, as well as real-life contexts. 1. Celebration. In the story, celebration refers to marking a special occasion with joy and festivity. Example from the story. James organized a picnic in the park to celebrate his 1-year anniversary in San Francisco. Real-life example. Families often gather for a celebration like a birthday party or graduation ceremony. 2. Get-together. In the story, a get-together is a social gathering or meeting of friends. Example from the story. James invited his friends for a picnic get-together to mark his anniversary. Real-life example. Friends may plan a get-together at a restaurant or someone's house to catch up and spend time together. 3. Organizing. To organize means to arrange or plan something in a systematic way. Example from the story. James took the initiative in organizing the anniversary celebration. Real-life example. Planning a trip involves organizing transportation, accommodations, and activities. 4. Refreshments. Refreshments are drinks or light snacks served at an event or gathering. Example from the story. James set out a variety of refreshments for his friends at the picnic. Real-life example. At a party, hosts may offer refreshments like water, juice, and finger foods to guests. 5. Anniversary. An anniversary is the yearly recurrence of a significant event, such as a wedding or the start of a job. Example from the story. James celebrated his 1-year anniversary of living in San Francisco. Real-life example. Couples celebrate their wedding anniversary with a romantic dinner or weekend getaway. 6. Toast. In the story, a toast is a gesture of raising glasses and offering good wishes before drinking. Example from the story. James proposed a toast to friendship and adventure in San Francisco. Real-life example. At a wedding reception, the best man often gives a toast to the newlyweds. 7. Gratitude. Gratitude is the feeling of being thankful or appreciative. Example from the story. James felt a sense of gratitude for his friends and the past year in San Francisco. Real-life example. Expressing gratitude through a thank you note or kind gesture can strengthen relationships. 8. Vibrant. Vibrant describes something full of life, energy, and activity. Example from the story. James embraced the vibrant culture of San Francisco. Real-life example. Cities like New York or Tokyo are known for their vibrant nightlife and diverse cultural scenes. 9. Companionable. Companionable describes a friendly and sociable atmosphere or relationship. Example from the story. James and Sarah enjoyed a companionable silence as they watched the sunset. Real-life example. Walking with a friend and chatting amiably creates a companionable experience. 10. Adversity. Adversity refers to difficulties or challenges. Example from the story. Despite facing adversity, James remained determined to succeed in San Francisco. Real-life example. Overcoming adversity, such as a setback at work or a personal loss, can lead to personal growth and resilience. Here are 3 things that readers can learn from the story. 1. The importance of celebrating milestones. The story highlights the significance of marking important milestones and achievements in life, such as anniversaries or personal accomplishments. By organizing a celebration for his 1-year anniversary in San Francisco, James demonstrates the value of taking time to acknowledge and appreciate our progress and growth. 2. The power of friendship and community. Throughout the story, James finds support, companionship, and joy in the friendships he forms with others in San Francisco. Readers can learn the importance of building connections with others and fostering a sense of community, especially in new or unfamiliar environments. James's celebration with his friends underscores the happiness and fulfillment that come from sharing experiences with others. 3. Embracing change and growth. As James reflects on his journey in San Francisco, he recognizes the personal growth and transformation he has undergone since arriving in the city. The story encourages readers to embrace change, step out of their comfort zones, and pursue opportunities for growth and self-discovery. James's willingness to explore new experiences and adapt to his surroundings serves as a reminder of the positive outcomes that can result from embracing life's transitions. This story and voiceover have been provided by English Made Easy. Learn through stories. Copying or re-uploading is strictly prohibited.